Hi, I'm Rick.
Hi, I'm Oscar. Rick,
Yes.
you've brought a slide deck again.
I brought a slide deck, and actually I think most of it's going to be the slide deck and some discussion.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a topic that's really interesting, but also really preview. So
Okay.
I'm really looking forward
What is
into
it?
seeing what you think and how you think this will take place in the market. It's about Azure Arc.
Azure Arc. What is Azure Arc?
Okay.
Really
So-
curious.
Azure Arc Go is actually a way of combining both on-premises resources, Azure resources, as well as resources running in other clouds, and bringing them all together in one management environment. So for instance, with Azure Arc, you could create an Arc environment that actually connects to an on-premises server, and help you manage and look at all of the servers and all of the resources you have from one central location, the Azure portal.
Okay.
So let's dive in just a little bit deeper before we go into the discussion. So in the end, no, not in the end, but for now they have three different things that they would like to provide using Azure Arc.
Yeah.
And one of them is for you to organize and govern across environments, which actually means you have that SQL server that still runs on-prem because either you have the hardware or the license or you just need it to run there. And you can actually install some software on that machine that will make it connect to Azure, that will make it get a unique ID within the Azure scope, and that enables you to manage what's happening on the machine.
Okay.
And then also managing Kubernetes apps at scale and running data services anywhere. Those two are actually in a form of preview where you actually have to sign up to get access.
Okay.
So those are really preview. The organize and govern across environments, you can already add servers to your Azure environment that actually run either on AWS or on premises and get insights from there.
Okay. And you install some agent, or is it specific something from the OS?
It's not from the OS, you do install an agent. So just one step back, the organize and govern across environments actually allows you to manage your Windows and Linux machines hosted outside of Azure on your corporate network or another cloud provider. So, as I said, that SQL machine that still runs on-prem or a VM that you have running in AWS, you can actually pull that in. And then yes, you need the Azure Connected Machine agent. It needs to be installed on each Azure connected machine, and it does not deliver any other functionality, just then providing for a way to connect to the machine to get data from it.
Okay.
It also does not replace the Azure Log Analytics agent, which is a separate installation that you do so that you can push all kinds of log analytics into Azure. And then the Azure Log Analytics agent that we just talked about is actually an agent for Windows and Linux that's required when you want to proactively monitor the OS or manage the machine using runbooks or even using other services like Azure Security Center.
Yeah.
So now the cool thing is that these tools actually allow you to manage what's happening on a VM regardless of where it's running. And I think that's actually a pretty big thing. And also, my main concern immediately would be, is Microsoft going to tell me that I will be better off running my machine in their cloud?
Yeah.
So for instance, will it say, hey, I can see that you have this VM running SQL on premises because you connected it to Azure. But if you run it on a VM or on Azure SQL, you will limit the costs or it will perform better. Or I'm not really sure where Arc is going, if it's only management or also to give Microsoft insight into the entire ecosystem.
There. It's like it will see like what is still running there, where they now are guessing, I would say.
Yeah,
so it's also interesting from that perspective is to see why are these servers still on premises? Why are people using them?
Or not in Azure, and that they can see we need to improve.
What service does it match in Azure or anywhere else? Could be interested from that perspective. But on the other hand, sounds like a really interesting tool to have if you have a hybrid situation going on, which is hard to manage.
Actually, if you look at the videos that were displayed on conferences like Build, they actually had a couple of movies where they showed Arc actually up and running.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that they can manage machines cross tenants, across clouds, and even across your local environment, your on-premises stuff, that's actually, it's pretty neat. So, except for the fact that you can manage those machines, they also, by the way, these are the supported regions, that's a good addition. So currently only West US 2, West Europe and West Asia are supported. And then if you look in the other two fields where they actually see Azure Arc as being a good solution, one is to have it manage Kubernetes app at scale.
Yeah.
So it's always current with the latest innovations from Azure because again, here you install some tool that actually enables you to scale out your Kubernetes apps. So you can elastically scale based on the capacity with the ability to deploy in seconds. And then what's interesting here is, are they going to enable you to leverage the power of both the on-premises stuff you still have and the stuff you have in the cloud so that you can distribute the workload evenly?
Yeah, if you have the stuff running anyway and you bought it 2 years ago, like why not use it for a while?
Yeah.
A lot of people are also not moving because they're still in that sequence. So pulling that forward and like, well, we're still using this now, but in the future when needing to scale up, we don't do it on premises.
Yeah, and then the cool thing, of course, is as soon as the on-premises hardware actually starts dying out, you will just flip the switch to not use that server anymore, and it will automatically scale more into the cloud. And I think this will really help into gradually migrating bigger customers more and more into a cloud solution.
Yeah,
most
but also
preferably Azure.
In some cases, you have a really specific reason to run locally.
True.
With performance or special hardware or anything.
Or integrations or...
Yeah, integrations to stuff that's physical on your premises. So you will always, in some companies, they will always need some machines there.
True.
So it's interesting to at least bind it together and to be able to put some compute anywhere. This is also, I guess, inside the edge computing theory we have going on.
Yeah, actually, edge is one of the distribution mechanisms that they allow you to manage from Azure Arc.
Yeah.
So you can also manage your edge devices from Azure Arc. So yeah, this will also move into the edge.
It's really interesting to think over the boundaries of cloud or prem or and then different providers.
Yeah, true. And then now we actually saw this for the workload and the on-premise and the VMs, and then we saw the managing Kubernetes apps at scale. But then they also have running Azure Data Services anywhere. That's actually now, as I said, a preview that you need to sign up for. But this actually allows you to have Azure-based services, data services, actually running in your on-premises hardware because you can.
It's really interesting. But we had something called Azure Stack for that, right? Or
yeah, I think this is
different.
That's a good question. I think this is an addition to. I don't think it's a replacement of. Actually, by the way, here we see a screenshot with Azure Data Studio, where we can actually see the Arc location for some of the servers. Some of them are Orlando or in Seattle. Yeah. So those are on-premises servers, and the other ones are SQL managed instances that are actually running in the cloud. So here you can see that you have a SQL managed instance running in a data center provided by Azure Arc. So the managed instance thing is still the service you're running, although this time it's running on your on-premises hardware somewhere.
It's really interesting.
To give you...
Some of those services are so cloud native, so complex. Like just running it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So if you look here, then you can see how it works. It runs on the Azure Arc data controller, which actually does provisioning and scaling and doing all the updates and that kind of stuff. And then that actually runs on any hardware or any Kubernetes, which is pretty powerful. Yeah. And you can see the PostgreSQL database logo
Mhm.
there and the SQL database logo, and I think it's even Azure Search, what I see over there on the right. And this actually also deploys in seconds, and you can scale your on-premises database up into the cloud if you need more power than you're actually needing, or sorry, than you can actually provide from the on-premises hardware.
Yeah.
And then you get the cloud billing for the on-premises stuff.
You will also see what you use there in.
Yeah. And as I can read the documentation right now, they will.
As long as you don't bill for their services, which are running on your own hardware.
Yeah, no, that would be horrible.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think this is really an interesting take on the future of computing, be it on-premises and cloud in a hybrid situation.
Yeah.
And I actually see this as a great tool to start migrating stuff into the cloud gradually, because currently there's most of the times people think there's a big bang, right? That you either rebuild or you pick everything up and you walk.
Or you do a complete lift and shift.
Yeah.
And it will be more expensive and people will leave it by that, because also rebuilding is a big investment. So it's really hard sometimes to say either you have to rebuild everything, so here's 2 years of development work, or let's make VMs and just spend more and get not as good performance as on metal.
Yeah, true. So. And I think this will actually help you in leveraging the power of the stuff you still have on premises and having it run there, but also leveraging the power of what's already available in the cloud and in Azure and the infrastructure that you have available right there. And then as soon as things from on-premises start stopping.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Then gradually move into Azure and have it run there.
Yeah.
So I see Azure Arc as a big promise. I actually really like the videos that are available on them, so we'll post them in the comments below. If you are in a hybrid situation, if you have on-premises hardware or maybe VMs that are running at a different cloud provider, then have a look at Azure Arc and see if and how they can help you to better understand your entire ecosystem of infrastructure.
It sounds really promising. Thank you.
Yeah, I think so too. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.